Good afternoon. We're going to get started about 2 minutes. So if everyone could take seats and be ready to go, we'll have Coach Norvell on in just a moment. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. If we could ask first if everyone could silence your mobile devices. Just take a minute to take a look. I'll do the same. Thanks for being here for the 2017 American Athletic Conference Football Championship. My name is Chuck Sullivan, Assistant Commissioner for Communications for the conference. If there's anything I can do or any of our staff can do to help you in any way during the next 2 days, please let me know. We'll make sure to do what we can on your behalf. Commissioner Mike Norvell is here. Will be available for one-on-one interviews if anyone needs to get the commissioner after this. Just let either of us know. Our format is we'll have Coach Mike Norvell from Memphis up for 15 minutes. He'll make an opening statement, and we'll have time for questions and answers, after which we'll have a photo op with Coach Norvell and Coach Frost from UCF with the trophy, followed by Coach Scott Frost for 15 minutes. Before we do get started, I do want to have one request. Understanding the news of the day, the news of the week, we want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that the two teams that are playing here tomorrow, they have a combined record of 21-1. And against other teams, they're 20-0. They're two top 25 teams. This is one of 6 conference championship games between two top 25 teams. You know the other 5. So we'd appreciate if the focus could be centered around this game, these coaches, these players, and the results to the student athletes and the results that they've deserved of the participating student athletes. With that said, I would like to introduce the champions of the West Division. With a record of 10-1 from the University of Memphis, Mike Norvell.
All right. Good afternoon. So honored to be able to be here today and to be able to represent the West Division, to represent the University of Memphis, and for all Memphians. It is definitely a special opportunity. This football team has had an incredible season. It's been one that there's been adversity, there's been schedule changes, there's been injuries, there's been an incredible response to every situation that they faced, and we have a wonderful group of senior leaders. We've got an extremely talented group of newcomers and young men that have all come together to form a very special, cohesive unit and football team. It's been an incredible journey to get to this point and to be able to take the steps necessary to win the West Division, which was a wonderful accomplishment in its own right, and once again for the opportunity to play in this game. A championship game against a undefeated, great football team in Central Florida with a wonderful coaching staff, and we know that it's gonna be a wonderful game to be a part of, but a great challenge too. Our guys are excited about it. We've had a great week of preparation. We're looking forward to the opportunity that's in front of us, and we know that it's going to take our best effort to put ourselves in a position to be successful. But I believe in this football team. I believe in the young men and the work that they've put in to get to this point, and we're definitely excited about being able to kick it off. And so we're looking forward to tomorrow, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. We're grateful for the American Conference and all that they've done in making our travels and this opportunity so special. And we're looking forward to representing our university and community, hopefully in a first-class fashion for how we play tomorrow.
Mike, you played Central Florida earlier. Memories of that game, and what have you done since that's created an upper trajectory that's put you into top 20?
Well, this is our third trip to Orlando, and the first two didn't go exactly the way that we hoped. But looking back at that first game, that was a great learning experience for us. It was one that we didn't feel that we played as to the ability of what we're capable of. But Central Florida had a great deal to do with that. They're a phenomenal football team. We knew going into that game that it was going to be a challenge. Our first road trip, we were coming off a couple early season games where we faced some adversity and some injuries that showed up, and we had some newcomers that were learning how to communicate. They were learning how to play together. We turned the ball over multiple times offensively. We didn't score in the red zone. Basically, all the things that are necessary to win a big game, we weren't able to accomplish. But the day after our last game, we got together as a football team, and we talked about each experience. And we had to build off of every experience, good, bad, and indifferent. And that's one thing that our football team, the way that we prepared, the intensity, the focus of every rep in practice, it had to get better because we saw a different standard. We saw what could happen if we did not play to the best of our ability, and our kids, they responded to that. And our credit to our coaching staff. I mean, the assistant coaches, coordinators, everybody had a part into selling the same message. But our kids took it and ran. And we talked about midway through the season. You look at college football, you see half the teams in it kind of get complacent with where they are, and then a select few of them continue to progress week in and week out, building off the experiences that they have. And that's something I think I've seen our football team do.
Mike, they're calling this the biggest game in Memphis history. With what you've accomplished, what's there for the taking if you can win tomorrow? Can you talk on that about the magnitude of this game for this program in this city?
Oh no, it's a huge game, and when you sit down before the year, and all the way back to January, each coach, each player sets out a line of goals of what we want to do. How do we want to see our football team progress? And tomorrow is we're getting closer. Obviously, being able to win the West Division was something that was big, but to do it in the fashion that we were able to for that to occur was pretty special. And now to be a 10-1 football team going into the conference championship game against an undefeated Central Florida team, we know the implications of what can come if we can find a way to be successful. And that's what makes it such a big game. It's a big game because the work that each and every one of our players and coaches have put into this season for every opportunity to be able to actually stand here today. But we know that if you can win tomorrow, if you can find a way to achieve that goal and that feat, that everything that we set out to at the beginning of the season to want to accomplish is there in front of us. And so it's a great compliment to our team and to our community, all the support that we've had in Memphis, the excitement that's continuing to build around the Tiger football program. It's pretty special.
Hey, Coach, right here. When you look at that trophy and take a good look at it, what does that mean to you as a young coach in your second year at the helm to be able to do something like this at a program that has never, ever played in a conference championship game?
It means a lot. It means, I purposely I got to see the trophy there at Media Day, and I purposely stay pretty far away from it because there's a lot of work that has to go into being able to stand next to that trophy. And, our goal and our aspirations are to be able to do everything in our power tomorrow for 60 minutes. And hopefully we can get a little bit closer than where I am to it right now. But it's a great compliment to our program. These young men, I've got a group of seniors that's the winningest group of seniors that in program history. We also have a football team that is a young team, and we've had 35 freshmen that have played in our first two seasons, and so seeing that group come together with the experience, with the youth, and everybody come to work together for a common cause, and to do it to perform at the level that they have, through the adversity that we've seen, whether it be weather, whether it be injuries, regardless of what's occurred during the season, they've built off of each of those experiences, and that is the grand prize when it comes to our conference, and being able to put ourselves in a position to control what we can control. It's definitely a special feeling to be on this stage, and hopefully we can get a little closer tomorrow.
Hey, Coach, I want to build on that a little bit. You're talking about the success of the program and what this game could mean to your program. What could this game possibly mean for the conference to get them a bit more credibility in the college football committee?
Well, I think anybody that watches college football and knows anything about the American Conference, that you can see the credibility of our conference in our actions. You look at the non-conference schedule that we play, that the schools within our league plays throughout the season, and the success that we've had. The coaches, the players. Last year we had 15. NFL draft picks from our schools. This year it's going to be another big number with the talented players that you see coming through. The recruiting, the I could say almost a new standard of recruiting within our league. It's definitely a special league to be a part of. And you play a game like this. I mean, it's incredible because all eyes across the country are going to be watching this one because of, like we said, you got two teams that come together and there's only been one loss. And that one loss came at the hands of the other one. So, it's a special league to be a part of. So much versatility. Just a very, very quality conference to be a part of.
Yeah, Mike. Both teams tomorrow have very productive quarterbacks. In fact, the league is filled with good quarterbacks. Is that just becoming a standard for the way the league plays football?
Yeah, it's an exciting brand of football, and you look at the versatility. I mean, you look at the Navy triple option. You look at obviously it's, what Central Florida does, what we do. I mean, you can go all the way across. Each football team in our league is unique in its own set. But how we play offense, how we play defense. We take pride at Memphis of being we see ourselves as a program that is built for playmakers, and so we try to find the right fit for our program, and then put them in a position to be able to showcase all of their skills and talents. And I think that's what you see within our league is there's some guys that come into our programs that are not highly recruited, some guys that have to be developed, some guys that have to be put in a position to be showcased. And we take a great deal of pride in that. Our leading receiver Anthony Miller started at Memphis as a walk-on. Didn't have a scholarship offer. But he is a self-made man. He is somebody that's come to work every single day to put himself in a position to be successful, and we try to complement that by also being able to move him around, to be able to showcase those talents that he does have, so that the country can see. And I think that when you look at our conference as a whole, that's kind of what highlights each and every one of our teams.
Coach, you've had a spot locked up in this game for 2 weeks. The East Division champion was only decided last week. I know you guys probably would have liked to host. That would have been the case if USF won. But given the fact that you guys lost to UCF and you didn't play as well as you would have liked to, were the guys excited that they get another shot here against UCF?
Well, we're excited for the opportunity to play in this game. And, honestly, we had no control over, who we were going to play, where we were going to play. We tried to do the best of our ability throughout the season and ensure that we can get to this game. And, when Central Florida won that game last Friday, we knew who we would play, but we still had business that we had to do finishing up our regular season. And so, our guys are excited. We're excited for the opportunity. And we know that last time we were here, we didn't play up to the ability that we believe we can. And so, but once again, those are just words. We have to go and prove it on the field, and that's something we take a great deal of pride of within our program is to make sure our actions do a lot more talking than the words that we say. And last time we were here, we didn't show real well, but our kids are excited about being able to go out there and play to the best of our ability, and hopefully put ourselves in a position to be successful.
Hey, Coach, UCF's running attack is extremely good, and you guys have made a point this week about stopping that running attack. Just, what goes into the preparation of trying to stop that attack that has so many running backs with different skill sets? How do you try to slow that down? Well,
it's a challenge, and I think that any team that's played Central Florida this year has kind of went into it with the same headaches that we've experienced here throughout the week. But what makes them special is they're so diverse in how in their presentation of attack. They can run inside, they can run outside. Obviously they've got many backs that can hurt you and are very explosive. If they get in the open field, their speed takes over, and they're definitely tough to get down. But then you also have a quarterback in Milton who you have to account for. Because if you don't have a hat accounting for him, he can make you pay with his legs, and then also once you get to where you're trying to stop the run, well, they've got some very skilled receivers on the perimeter, and they can hurt you down the field in the passing game. So it's a great compliment. It's what as a guy that's been in offense has kind of been my background. I've got a tremendous deal of respect for Coach Frost and what they do because it is balanced, and that's what we try to do as well on offense, because that makes the challenges that much greater for a defense to have to defend.
Mike, there's been talk about revenge, redemption, from that first game. With everything at stake now, do you try to push those buttons or minimize those buttons, especially when you look at the history between these two teams where UCF has won 10 in a row? How does all that play into tomorrow's game?
It really doesn't. I'd like to believe that we're not the same team that we were in week 4 of the season, and we've built ourselves to where we are now. Do you learn from the experience that we had? Yes, but Central Florida is also a different team than what they were. They've improved. They've progressed. They've been battle tested as well. So, revenge is not a factor because that's just an outward emotion of what you try to do. These guys are excited about playing in the game, and it's the greatest thing. We're sitting there talking as a coaching staff and as a football team to be able to play in a championship game. There's so many people that have been a part of this game for many years and never get the opportunity. So our kids, we prepared. We worked hard. We put everything we have into this week of getting ready for the championship game, but we also enjoyed it because, man, this is something that they're going to remember the rest of their lives. And as we've been going through this, our process of the week, we've tried to make sure that we take advantage of each one of those days. But I can promise you they're going to cut it loose tomorrow and give everything that they have to work to be successful. But we have enough motivation inwardly to regardless of having to focus on anything from the outside.
Mike, what were the most important adjustments that you made since that game against UCF to really get your offense back up to speed there?
I think that from that game, that was the worst offensive performance that we've had actually since we've been here as a coaching staff and with this team, and so we really went back and did a lot of self evaluation, and our guys, we each took accountability for what allowed that circumstance to happen. Coaches, players, everybody involved had to go back and we had to rely on what allowed us to have success up until that point, and we had to build off of what we'd seen can hurt us. And so I think everybody just being accountable to their own personal improvement, making sure that every day that we stepped on that practice field, every game that we had an opportunity to play from that point, we had one focus. It was truly on ourselves and making sure that we put ourselves in a position to be successful. And then when you have the opportunity to make the play in the game because of that preparation, we're in a better situation to be able to make that happen. All right, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.
Pretty dexterous to get up here, otherwise, Put you right in the middle. I don't know, how do you want to do it? Perfect, just like that. There you go. I think the trophy's going to get in the way. So yeah, one side or the other, yeah. We're good. Whatever it works.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now to introduce the head coach from the East Division champion UCF Knights with a record of 11-0, head coach Scott Frost. Coach, if you just give an opening statement, then we'll turn it over for questions, please.
We're honored to be here. That trophy would mean a lot to this team, this university, and this place. We're playing a really good team tomorrow. Our guys are ready, and we're looking forward to a great game.
We have a microphone for questions. Raise your hand.
I can probably hear them.
Scott, if McKenzie didn't have the ability to run the way that he does on those design runs, how different would this offense look?
Yeah, I don't think this offense is as good without that weapon, having a quarterback that can move. McKenzie's not just a good runner. He's been really elusive in the pocket. Our offensive line's certainly done a great job this year, but a lot of our low sack total has to do with him being able to escape and evade pressure, and he's added to our team in both those ways.
Coach, how low was morale when you got here, and what did you do to overcome that when you first got here?
I don't know if morale was low. There was a lot of spirit on this team. There's a lot of guys that, even with a bad record, believe they could accomplish a lot more, and I think that spirit had a lot to do with getting us where we are. I remember talking to Shaquem and Pittman and Tony Garrod and Shaquan Burkett and countless other guys, and they all believed they should have been a better team than they were the year before. And that belief, I think, helped catapult us forward a little faster.
Scott, you talked about the moments when even you realized that things were moving along a little quicker than even you expected. Do you remember the moment when you said to yourself, this team is capable of winning a conference championship?
You know, it's just all come together so well this year. We had trouble moving the ball against our defense in the spring. We had trouble moving it in fall camp. So I knew we were going to be pretty good on defense, even though we'd lost a bunch of good players, and we thought we might take a step back. But again, things have fallen into place. Shaquan Burkett coming back for us has helped a lot. Getting Mike Hughes late in the year has helped us a lot. He's been a great player. Staying healthy on that side of the ball and having some young guys play well have been big pieces. You know, and we didn't know where we'd be on offense. We knew we'd be better because we had a lot of guys returning. But like I said, we didn't move it very well against our defense during practice. So to watch that group figure it out and develop confidence and cohesion and get to where they are, it's been amazing. And I'm not sure there's very many other groups of people that could have engineered this kind of, not engineered, I'm talking about the players that could have driven this kind of turnaround. I'm also not sure there's very many places in the country where that would even be possible. But this place in this place it's possible, and with these kids it was possible.
Yes, Scott. Both of these teams have shown the potential to score 60, maybe even 70 points. With that in mind, what type of game do you expect tomorrow?
It's going to be a good game. I think they're playing as well as they've played all year. I think we're playing at our best right now. Both teams have been dominant for the most part this year. You know, the first game against them probably would have been a shootout, except we created some turnovers when they were going in to score on us, and that really gave us a margin in the game. We made our share of plays, and they made their share of their plays, but those turnovers were big. And usually in those big games, it comes down to turnovers and special teams, and I expect that to be a factor tomorrow.
Coach, last week's win emotional, and there were some distractions this week. How is the team focused this week, preparing for such a big stage?
All I can tell you is everybody in our building is doing things exactly the same way we've been doing them for 11 weeks and longer since we had hurricane games and everything else. Practice have been great. The coaches are dialed in. The players are dialed in. The trainers and equipment guys are dialed in. This team wants to finish this off the right way. We know we have a big challenge and a good opponent in front of us, but they're going to get our best, and if we play as well as we can play, then I like our chances.
Hey, Coach, you spoke a bit about the turnaround from 2016, being the bounce back from the all-defeated 2015 season. In 2017, had plenty of challenges with the hurricane coming on and then having no bye week through there. Kind of explain how you managed to keep the high standard going with this group.
Yeah, I told these guys before the season that it's probably harder to go from 0-12 easier to go from 0-12 to 6-6 than it is to go from 6-6 to 9-3 or 10-2. That means you got to start winning some of those close games, beating some good teams. You got to keep the momentum going. I think I knew when we went up to Maryland and played like we did that we had a chance to be better than maybe any of us thought. But we've had some challenges along the way. I look back to fall camp, and we approached fall camp a little differently with the early start to fall camp, and we made sure our guys were fresh coming out of fall camp. I think because of the way the season's turned out that's been really important because we have been, this I think will be our 11th week in a row playing a football game, and that can wear a team down. But I give a ton of credit to Zach Duvall, the time, our strength coach, to Mary, our trainer. This is one of the healthiest seasons of football that I've been a part of, and I think those two people and their staffs and probably our approach to it has helped us stay fresh and be ready to play.
Taj McGowan seemed to be a very big factor in that first game that you guys had against Memphis. We haven't seen a lot of him since. Why is that?
No reason. Taj is a great player, and we trust him. We'll put him in at any time. I think Otis has probably earned the right to be out there a little bit with some of the plays he's made, but I've said this a bunch. There's a bunch of guys on our team and a bunch of backs that we trust to do the job, and I have no problem with any of them being in there.
Coach, right here, the first time you played Memphis, they had a lot of injuries in their defense, and they turned the ball over a lot. How have you seen them progress, and how different did they look to you now when you watch them on tape than what they looked like when you played them first time?
I don't know. It's the same guys. They've changed their schemes up a little bit, particularly on defense. They're playing more man-to-man coverage, doing some different things. They've moved a couple players to different spots on defense. But their guys are familiar with our guys, and our guys are familiar with their guys. And I think both teams have continued to evolve and improve over the course of the season. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know our team's going to be ready, and we're going to play well, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of staying dialed in this whole week. Have you had to address anything with your players concerning your future, and how have you been able to stay dialed in this week?
No, I'm staying dialed in by doing my job. We got a great game plan. We need to execute it. Practices have been great. We can't beat Memphis unless we have 100% attention on this game and this opportunity and this challenge, and that's what we've done.
Hey, Coach. I think you played in 2 conference games as a player, and you were 1-1. Is there a key into how do you approach a conference game different than maybe a regular season game for your players?
No, there really wasn't a difference. The great thing for us is after a short week going into that last game, we had a couple days off for our team, and I think they need that. They kind of came back Monday a little rejuvenated, and that's helped. But otherwise, we've approached this just like any other game, and that's the way we've treated all of them up to this point, and we'll continue to.
Scott, last Friday was one of the more entertaining games in the country. I think most people who watched it would admit to that. Were you concerned it might have taken something out of you, or is there any way you can guard against that type of thing?
Yeah, we've talked all week about making sure we have the juice for one more, and the guys have answered the bell in practice. I expect them to answer the bell Saturday. What these guys are attempting to do, if they can win tomorrow, doesn't happen very often, particularly when a season unfolds like it did and we don't have a break anywhere in there. So that probably adds a little bit of challenge. But our guys are excited to play, and they're looking forward to this. I think any chance that this group gets to play with one another, they cherish, and they'll be ready.
Okay, Coach, ask Coach Norvell this question as well. There's been a lot of big games for the conference, whether it be, let's say, Memphis versus Houston, or certainly USF versus UCF. What do you think this conference championship can do for the reputation of the conference to the College Football Committee?
Well, people have been trying to get me to talk all year about our ranking and where we should be, and I don't want to do that. I don't think it's my place to do that, but I will talk about the football in this conference. I don't think USF gets the credit they deserve in this country. That is a fine football team that we played last week. You look at a team like our opponent tomorrow that beat UCLA by about the same margin that USC beat UCLA, and a bunch of people sitting in a room think USC is a lot better team than Memphis. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know, there's countless examples of that. Arizona being a good Pac-12 team, and Houston going out there and getting a win. UCF score comparison with Maryland compared to Wisconsin, and Navy compared to Notre Dame. I think this conference deserves more attention than what it's getting, and more credit than what it's getting right now. And I'm not just saying that about our team. I think there's a lot of football teams in this league that could beat a bunch of teams in those big leagues. And I think a lot of people know it and recognize it. And I'm not sure that several teams in this league are getting a fair shake. You bet.
Okay, for anyone who needs to send video from here with a hard line, the room is across the concourse here, labeled as the media room. There are hardline Ethernet connections in there from which you can send your video. And if you need anything else during the next 2 days, again, just feel free to ask myself or a member of our staff. Thank you.